Hi, my name is Danica, and today I want to talk about my Booktube insecurities. So about a year ago, I made a video called Video Creation and Self-Esteem, and in it I talked about how having a Booktube channel has been good for my self-esteem because the editing process is really cathartic. But what I didn't mention at the time, and what I've been thinking about lately, is that it's a double-edged sword. Although video creation is good for my self-esteem in some ways, it has also introduced some insecurities. I've been making videos for almost 3 years now, and my relationship with Booktube and with video making has kind of changed and evolved over that time. I never expected to be a popular booktuber, but I was happy to find a little niche and have really interesting discussions with people. And I still definitely feel that way. But to be honest, sometimes I get hung up on the numbers. I have a fairly small subscriber count, and I'm still really happy that anyone's watching these videos at all, and I'm so happy about the relationships that I've made on YouTube and the discussions that happen in the comments. But sometimes I do fall prey to feeling bad about the low subscription count of something I've been doing for so long. But here's the thing, my other online endeavors, the Lesberry, Fuck Yeah Lesbian Literature, my Book Riot posts, those are not astronomically popular. I know that my perspective is a niche interest. I'm queer, I talk about lesbian books almost exclusively, and that's not going to be everyone's passion, and that's fine. And usually when I'm writing, I don't have a problem accepting that, though I do occasionally get competitive about views and followers. Unfortunately, I find that YouTube brings out the worst of my competitiveness. Probably it's partly because your subscriber count is so prominent on your channel. It's like you just have your worldwide ranking displayed on your forehead at all times. And that's the other thing, my videos are me. I know that my writing is me too, but it's not my face, it's not my voice, it's not me speaking to you. There's something painfully vulnerable about putting videos on the internet that I don't find is nearly as much in writing. Because there's that visual aspect, it's not just my ideas that are being judged. When I start getting worried about those numbers, my thoughts aren't, my ideas aren't good enough. I immediately think my lighting isn't good enough, or my camera isn't good enough, or my editing isn't good enough, and those are all things that I can only improve by putting a lot of money into them. And what's worse than that, and what's almost too embarrassing to actually address, is that I think I'm not good enough. There are so many booktubers out there who not only have amazing content, but they also have perfect lighting, and their editing is really interesting visually, and let's be real, they're also really pretty. Their hair is perfect, their eyeliner is flawless, they're just a pleasure to watch on every level. I mean, I'm queer, I'll admit, watching a pretty girl talk about books is pretty much the best thing. And as much as we all want to be beyond that kind of thing, I can't dismiss it as completely irrational, because those things do influence subscriber count. We can't pretend that the money that you can invest in lighting, a good camera, editing software, and a computer that actually can handle editing your videos is irrelevant. That's my confession, that I get hung up on the numbers. And I always come back to reminding myself that I love the booktube community that I found, especially my fellow queer booktubers. And to be honest, queer booktubers do seem to have a cap on their subscription count, and if that's why I have a low subscription count, then I really don't care, because I'm not going to stop talking about queer books to be more palatable. And part of what I love about Booktube versus blogging is that Booktube is so personal, that videos are so personal, that they are just me. So I should really just forget about the numbers, because there's no point in doing this if I'm not just being my authentic self. I wanted to make this video because I've been thinking about it ever since I made that first video, and I wanted to open up a dialogue, hopefully. If you're a booktuber, I would love to hear what you think about this. Do you ever get self-conscious about the YouTube platform? What are your bookish insecurities? I'd especially love to hear from other queer booktubers, so I am specifically calling you out, Nicole of Wolf's Whistle and Joseph of The Boy Who Cried Books, but also Monica of Sophisticated Blueberry. If you're watching this, I would love to hear what you have to say about this, because I always like to hear what you have to say. But any booktubers, let me know, do you get hung up on your subscription count, and what are your worries around it? That way we can all process this together. And thank you for watching. Bye.